Hey, it's Message on Josh Landers with another episode from the dungeon of the garage. If you see me go like this creepily toward the camera every once in a while and have my fucking goddamn lazy brown eyes look over here, I'm making sure the camera is still rolling. As usual, I'm doing this in audio form only and now in video and audio. Obviously, I just want to make sure the fucking uptick of the camera is still going because last time it screwed up and it split my videos in two, which no one watches anyways. You know, my fucking 5 subscribers, they don't care anyways. They probably don't even listen. But this is the way it is, and this is how it's going to be going. But I'm still going to be here, still going to be doing this. So I got my pretentious notebook, my composition book, yet again. And over the last 2 weeks, it's been interesting. Obviously, we're still in this pandemic. Now we got the spikes rising, of course, always. It's always going to do that in every 2 to 3 months. It seems like everything's going to spike. They're already foreshadowing that possibly another spike will be coming in September. So it's going to be in this 3 month cycle probably for the rest of our lives. But we just couldn't handle sticking around anymore. It's summertime for us. Our jobs ended. The kids are out of school. My job is gone. I am no longer a teacher, which is both a weight off my shoulders and also a little bit scary just for the fact of income and money. But you know, I've had 40 something jobs. I think I'll make my way through it. And you can't get paid any worse as a teacher in this state in particular, or in this country. So I think I'll be able to fucking pick up dog shit for a living and make the same amount of money. And just FYI, my dog, who we traveled with recently, which I'll get to, just shit all over the downstairs carpet this morning. Like a big, smelly, just all encompassing smell of dog shit throughout the house. I think she was a little backed up. I think she is feeling the effects of the old COVID. Um, Possibly, but whatever it was, it was a stinky, stinky morning in the old Landers household. All right, so what we did was a very smart move on our part as parents. We were done with school. We were getting itchy to go somewhere, and we did what any other protective parents would do. We took our kids on a road trip, and not just any road trip. It's a road trip to see our family in New Mexico, and not any part of beautiful, beautiful, mostly beautiful New Mexico. We went to Roswell, New Mexico, which is famed for you know what. If you don't, Google it, watch the shitty TV show that used to be on Fox or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But it was nice to see my parents, my brother, my cousin. You know, it was nice to see the family out there. So that's where we went. We felt like it would be a safe trip to go to see family. So either we bring the COVID with us, asymptomatically possibly, because we haven't had any effects of that yet. So we either brought the COVID, California COVID over to New Mexico, or we brought the New Mexico COVID back to California. So if there is a big spike again in any of those regions, you can blame us, and I'll take the blame. I don't care. It's a blame that I'll take. Were we getting that itchy to get out of the house? No, it was a hit and miss with my wife and I whether we're going to go or not. Should we go? Should we not go? Of course, we're always taking into consideration of our kids. Is it smart to travel? But I think this is going to be an ongoing thing for the next year, 2 years. Are we just not going to do anything anymore? I'm not one of these nuts that just doesn't wear a mask, which is not a nutty thing to do either. So I'm kind of in the middle ground of wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, which I always wear though. Every time I go out into public, I'm wearing my mask. And it's not that hard. It doesn't affect me that much to wear one. It feels almost normalized, even just after 3 months, to have to wear a mask. In California, it's mandatory. You have to wear one to go into a store. But when you travel, it's interesting to see the different pockets of people and thinking that's out there. And this is not a country anymore. We don't have a country. We have 50 different countries in one unified land, or ununified land, non-unified. We don't have a country anymore. I think it's all separated by states. So I think we could easily become 50 different countries soon. And maybe not 50, I'm sure there'll be some that will pocket together. We'll have the West Coast, we'll have California and Washington and Oregon. I did that out of order. But we'll have those 3 states probably get together. Then you can have Idaho, Nevada, Montana, maybe. Am I doing the geographics right here? In some sort of state. Then you would have Arizona, New Mexico, maybe parts of Texas or all of Texas, or Texas could be its own. Oklahoma is its own boat. I don't know. I mean, but everywhere now that we travel, I think we're going to see the differences in what COVID-19 is and what the protections that we take are. And like I said, my family, we're all mask wearers. Our kids don't go to stores with us. Even though my son did go to the store a couple of times in New Mexico, and when he did, he was wearing his mask. But is that a thing anymore? Is it what age can we now let our kids go to stores? He's 14. We let him walk around the neighborhoods here without a mask. And he knows to get 6 feet away. He knows to obviously not talk to people if they're coming up to him too close. But this is the new world order to a certain extent. But what age is that going to be? But our 7-year-old daughter, she hasn't gone anywhere. She hasn't gone into a store. She hasn't gone anywhere outside what we just did, traveling and going to 2 hotels on the way out there and the way back, and just basically staying at my parents' house in one environment. But again, we're always susceptible. We have to go out to go shopping. And if we bring something back, if I bring something back, whose fault is that? Is that mine? Even if I am wearing a fucking mask? I don't know. So this shit is just all off the rails now. But this is kind of I've always wanted to be doing traveling videos or traveling blogs. Is that blogs a thing anymore? Or just travel writing in general. I've always wanted to do that. And I've done it. I have these stupid fucking notebooks, and I have pages and pages and pages of them that I just have not put down in any sort of documentation. It's not great writing, it's not good writing, I do bullet point writing. But every time I reread stuff, our trip to Thailand, our trip to Costa Rica, our long road trip over to Montana, to Glacier National Park, and Yellowstone National Park, when we're still able to have national park visits, those are all things I still look at over the past 3 years, and it brings back the memory, to me at least. And they're funny, they're stupid, they're dumb, at least to me, right? It's just a me thing. It's a Josh thing. It's a personal, it's a selfish thing that I think I have with this. And I can't stop. I don't want to stop traveling. Nobody wants to. And I'm hearing it's opening up a little bit to travel, but then another shutdown. It's going to open up and then another fucking shutdown. And I think it was nice at least just to give our family a taste of what it could be like the near future, and maybe the future for as long as we live. I don't know anymore. So let's start there, I guess. We'll start there. So we left the house on a nice, brisk Friday morning from Northern California, and we knew it was going to be a long drive. And luckily, we have basically positioned ourselves as parents and kind of coached our children, for a lack of better words. I'm looking for a better word here, but I can't come up with it. But we've allowed our children to get used to traveling in many different ways. So we've done the long road trips, even when my son was very young. We went on a fairly long road trip. When he was 6 months old, we moved from San Diego all the way to Arkansas. So that was a long road trip for this little kid. And then he moved 4 or 5 different times since then. Different cities, different places within the same city, different towns, different places within the same town, house to house, apartment to apartment, townhouse to townhouse. This is the type of losers that our children have as parents, and especially me. As a loser parent who can never keep a sustaining job because I never like to work. No, I'm going to take that back. It's not about enjoying work or liking work. I don't like the jobs that I get. So that's the work I'm talking about. I'll do work all day long. I will do physical labor just stupidly on my own, just because it's something to do. If there's cinder blocks that need to be removed, if there's pallets that need to be broken down, if there's trees that need to be chopped that don't really need chopping, that's the type of stuff I like. So I'll work myself that way, and I'll do this little dumb shit like this, or writing and things. I'll work hard. I just don't like to work hard just for money's sake, I guess. I think you know what I'm talking about. The losers out there, the people who have never sustained a career in their life, they'll understand what I'm talking about. Just like alcoholics will understand what I'll talk about drinking later on. You guys will understand what I'm saying, hopefully, but maybe not. Like I said, I'm not smart. I'm not a brilliant person. Where was I? So start off in Northern California. Then obviously it's going to take 11 hours the first day. We can't go much further than that, maybe 10 hours. And mind you, we're traveling with a 60-pound dog. So we got a 60-pound dog in the back of our Subaru. Judge me for having a fucking Subaru. That thing is a monster. It's a beast. It's made it through ice storms. It's made it through snow, blizzards. It's made it through a lot of shit over the last 12 years. So if you want to judge me and call me a fucking a spike-haired lesbian driving the Subaru around, go ahead. Go ahead. But it's a nice car. And it's still nice. It needs a little work probably here. The muffler's going a little wonky. Has some weird hums coming from the back, especially on the way back. But we don't know exactly what it is, but we know there's a little bit of a muffler issue on the last diagnostic we had with the car a few months ago. So after I get the Thule packed on top, we have a soft bag Thule. We don't have the nice ritzy hard topped Yakima or Thule that's on top. We need to get one of those, but we have a soft top. And it's great for putting luggage in, it's great for putting sleeping bags and tents when we go camping, and I could ratchet that shit down. I could strap the straps on top of the car, put it on the racks on the Subaru, and just you wrench that shit down, and it gives us some freedom of room in the back seat. And the what's it called? Not fucking extra cab. We have what the fuck's it called? Station wagon. That has a little shit in the back, the compartment. But the dog now, our fucking 60-pound American Bulldog mix, she takes up that whole goddamn section. I'm putting bags around her, of course, but her pillow sits there perfectly, or her bed, and she's good. Luckily, we got a dog that travels well. She just sits there and slobbers the entire time over my kids' heads, and she just puts her face between the headrests, which is hilarious, and she looks like the Joker, my daughter calls her. It looks the Joker face, clown face, whatever you want to say. Her lips are pulled back, her big fucking tongue is dripping all over the goddamn kids' heads. My son is dying because of it. My daughter's laughing and flopping my dog's lips. But we got a dog that travels well, and that's extremely important. I think my brother was telling me about someone he knows where her dog pukes 4 or 5 times on a couple-hour road trip. And I had a dog like that at one point too. When you travel with them, you don't want a puking dog, but unfortunately that's what you get, and you just don't know. But fortunately, not to dwell on it too long, we have a good dog, and we trained our kids, that's the word I was looking for earlier, fucking trained our dog to travel well, and now we trained our children to travel well as well. So good, no problems then. They're outside of like of course they're gonna get antsy, like we are getting antsy. They're going to get bored, like we get bored, even though they have the luxury every once in a while of watching episodes on Netflix, downloading movies beforehand and giving it to them. My son is able to download. He's really into The Office right now. So he was downloading like 25 episodes of The fucking Office on his phone. So, but of course they want it all the time. And not to date ourselves as parents, but we grew up in the 80s and 90s, and our road trips were fucking boring. One, I didn't go on many road trips. Maybe to Vegas for my sister's wedding years ago. We did day trips with my dad on his days off from the post office. We didn't do a lot of traveling as kids. So I'm seeing them as like, you guys got the fucking posh life here. One, you travel, and you have parents who like to do it a lot, as much as we can, monetarily speaking and time-wise. But now they have the luxury of not being bored in certain pockets of these boring drives, which there are. We get bored as adults, of course, on these fucking drives. So they're brutal. So about 10 hours as the crow flies the first day. But of course we stop, piss breaks. We pack our lunch usually, but of course we make little pit stops. Dog has to go walk, and that's another thing about my dog. She doesn't piss when she gets out. Dogs are fucking amazing. They can hold their piss and shit for fucking days. Humans can't do that. We have to piss, especially when I'm having road beers, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. I gotta piss. I mean, when we gotta piss, we gotta piss. We gotta stop. We gotta find that rest stop. We gotta find that gas station, which is a little different now in this day and age to find places that allow you to go piss in their bathroom, depending where you're going. But what was I fucking talking about? Pissing and shitting. Outside of that, our little pit stops that we made. 10 hours. But it comes to like 11 and a half to 12 with these little stops that we make. And it's not terrible, but when you're traveling through certain regions that just have nothing with it, and especially, I think, in my mind, California, after a certain point, is the worst state to drive through. And if you've ever been on the I-5 before, it is the worst drive that I think I've been on. And I've been through really long stretches of lonely land. Oklahoma is a tough one. The panhandle of Texas, even though it's a short little kind of obviously panhandle, that's fucking brutal. Kansas can be tough. I'm sure there's many places. Idaho in a certain part was not what is not beautiful. Idaho was a little long. How many farms and potatoes can you look at after a while? But California is just long. It's fucking long. Let me look at the time. Oh, time's still going. It's long. It's desolate. It's cow shit smell. If you guys have ever gone south or north on the I-5, I don't remember exactly where we're at, what mile marker we're at, but just thousands and thousands and thousands of head of cattle, which I'm sure is very organic. When you see cows, like the king of the cows, the king of the herd, just standing on a fucking mountain of manure. And when it's summertime especially, that smell is just, it's not good. It's tough. And it's amazing that I still eat that fucking product, that beef, maybe not from those cows, because I'm hoity-toity and I'm pretentious enough to, and I have that privilege, I guess, to hopefully not eat those cows. But they can't be good for you. They just can't. But that's a tough drive for adults and kids. But we made it through. So 10, 11 hours gets us to Kingman, Arizona. And if you guys want to stalk me, my 5 subscribers, you could probably line where I'm coming from in California. I've already given away Northern California. You could probably trace on a map with your fat fucking potato finger where I'm at. And so we get to Kingman, Arizona. If you've never been to Kingman, Arizona, it's the typical kind of Arizona, what people assume of Arizona, if they've never been there. And when I was a kid, I used to make fun of Arizona quite a bit. Zoners, we call them, because when we go surfing or bodyboarding at the beach in the summertime, you'd always have those zoners just fucking waist deep in the water with their boogie boards. They're not called boogie boards, by the way. They're called bodyboards. They have their boogie board. They don't know what the fuck to do. They don't know the rules of the wave. They don't know the right of way of the wave. If someone's on that fucking wave already and coming down the line, they don't know not to hop on it. So you can't fault them for it. But I used to not like Arizona. You know, maybe just one time I said, if they blew up Arizona, no one would really care. Or just put a big bubble over it so people couldn't travel out of there. And Kingman was kind of what the Arizona, like I said, the old sort of West Arizona, the nothingness of Arizona. Of course, Phoenix, this big fucking bustling city. You got Tucson, a big giant college town. You got the Tri-Cities or whatever it is around Phoenix. So there's places, the massive metropolises, metropolitan areas. But Kingman is not that. It's just it's a thoroughfare town, right? It's a way to go. It's a place to stop and get a hotel. And my mistake that I made, and something I wasn't ever going to do again, and I told myself, and this is going to be the sort of poor pretentiousness that I have. Is it pretension or pretentiousness? I told myself a long time ago that I will never stay at a Motel 6. And I kind of had this thing, and maybe I heard it from someone else, that they said, once you get to a level of success, and that level of success means that you don't stay at a hotel where the door opens up into the parking lot. And I'm really starting to take that into heart a lot more. And I'm not saying you're a bad person if you stay in a hotel where your door opens up to the fucking smoking villa, where the designated smoking zone, or the swimming pool. When your door opens up, you don't want that. I'm not saying you're a bad person. That's kind of what all we can afford. But it's just weird how only like 20 to 30 bucks more gets you so much more, especially when you're on the road. But I made the mistakes. Fuck it, let's just stop at Motel 6. And one good thing about Motel 6 is they allow dogs there. No questions asked. No how much does a dog weigh. No questions about the breed. Because if they saw our dog, who's the biggest pussy I've ever met and one of the sweetest dogs I've ever met, they probably wouldn't let us stay because she's got that breed. She's got that quote-unquote mix in her that is susceptible to danger and anger and attacks. But no questions asked at Motel 6 because they don't care. And this one was not a good Motel 6. There's some of them out there. You go to like Morro Bay, you go down to like fucking Paso Robles, or any sort of posh beach town. They're going to be probably decent in California, and in Arizona even maybe. I don't know. But this one was not good. And right when we pull in, I'm like, oh fuck, we're tired. We're kind of anxious, obviously. Our asses hurt. My balls are falling asleep, or have fallen asleep. I had road beers while my wife was driving, which I still don't get. Why is that illegal? My wife's not drinking while she's driving. And we can get into laws and rules and regulations later on, especially when we get to the mask thing. If we get there, if my camera doesn't fucking shut off, still going. But why is that a thing? Why road beers? It's like I'm done driving. I did my 6 hours, 5 6 hours. My wife tried to evenly split it here and there, and I've done my time driving 14 straight hours in the past. And I don't want to do that anymore. It's too much. But you know, I could do 5 or 6, then get my road beers and be happy and just sit there and just sip on that drink while my wife is driving safely down the road. But if I get pulled over, we're fucked, obviously, right? Is that still a thing in the South or Midwest? I don't know. Can you have road beers? They used to have one. If the passenger is not driving, obviously passengers can't drive. If the passenger is drinking and the driver is not, what's the point? What's the difference? As long as the cops can check that, ma'am, are you driving? No, I'm not. Or are you drinking, ma'am? No, I'm not drinking. I'll let this test you. Little test. Not drinking. I am. What does it matter? But I think maybe they think, oh, he will drive at some point. But fuck it. Until I have my road beers, because it calms me down after these, and it makes the drive more enjoyable. What does that say about me? That says a lot about me. So judge me yet again. Fucking judge me. But right when we pull into this Motel 6, tired from the road, just hungry probably, irritated, irritable at everything, life in general. And then right when I come, I just see the scumbaggery of the Motel 6. I'm like, oh fuck, what kind of choice did I make? And I'm usually the one like, nope, we're not staying there, can't stay there. This is probably over the course of the last 10 years that I've become like this. And I can't do it. I can't, but I see it, I'm like, fuck, we're stuck. But then once we get deeper into the Motel 6, once we check in, once I see some dirtbag guy with really saggy shorts, a dirty shirt, fucking blow a snot rocket right by me when I'm going by with a couple of bags, and people in the pool, even though, you know, it's COVID-19, are we supposed to be in pools now? I don't know. But we see people in the pool with not the greatest bodies in the world, not saying I am, but I'm not jumping into a fucking Motel 6 pool. It just doesn't look right. Guys outside smoking cigarette. If you have a hotel that you go to, if you pull in and you see people who pull the chairs out from their motel room and they just sit by the door with it open and smoking cigarettes while other people are trying to get their bags off their cars, out of their cars, you probably get another hotel. But we were stuck there, and of course, in my fucking mental brain, I'm saying mental breakdown brain, I'm saying we got fuck it, let's get another hotel, ask for a refund. I can't do this shit. I can't sleep well, anyways. I know already. I got it in my head. I'm not going to sleep well here at Motel 6. And was I right? Kind of. But I was so exhausted at some point after I ate Arby's, fucking Arby's, which I used to like. Fucking what happened to Arby's? I used to like Arby's, and now it's fucking gone. I mean, the quality is gone. Never was quality, anyways. Maybe it was just a kid thing. So my son and I got Arby's. My wife did too. Hers was fine. She got a chicken sandwich. She's smart that way. My son and I opted for the fucking cheddar roast beef. He got sick later in the night, not puking, but he was fucking farting it up, stealing my covers on the bed as well. But he didn't feel good. He'll never have Arby's again. And my daughter had chicken fingers, didn't like them, so I have to walk to Jack in the Box next door and get them other shit. Anyways, that's the way travel goes. Because we're not healthy when we travel. People are, but I'm not gonna fuck it. It's traveling. So it actually ended up being not a bad night, but not a great night. And when you have people like scumbags at 3 o'clock in the morning, they don't know how to be quiet. They're walking right by your room, fucking stomping, yelling as loud as they would yell at noon, you know, for, hey, Marcy, where's the bag? Fucking Marcy, where's the fucking bag? Right outside of our hotel room. I don't know, Donald, it's in the car. I guess they're from Boston now, with that accent. But it's right outside of our fucking door at 3 in the morning. My dog's barking, she's growling. I'm like, it's a fucking, I'm yelling at white trash people. And not saying they're all white, I don't want to be racist, but it was very white trash. It's Kingman, Arizona. Who the fuck am I joking here? And then we made it through. At least we didn't spend more money to get another hotel. I gotta just kind of, let's get through this. I'll pass out, put the earbuds in, listen to something, kind of eventually just went in and out of sleep for the whole night. Of course, not great sleep, but at least we got through it. But some ass, this is kind of funny. We were in room 212, I believe. And my wife goes to walk the dog while I'm getting shit packed up the next morning, 6:30, 7 in the morning, so we can get on the road and travel all the way through Arizona to New Mexico. We see the number on our door is no longer 212. Right next to the placard at our door, fuck, it stopped again. My fuck, it happened again. Fuck this camera. Let's push through. Let me start this fucking thing up. Alright. Back on both. Fuck it. I'm pushing through. I'm gonna be able to edit this in the audio, but I gotta figure this shit out. This fucking camera, every 23 minutes it stops. It stops me from recording. So I gotta fucking learn how to edit. I gotta learn how to splice. I gotta learn how. This is fucking ridiculous. Not that other people who are doing this don't have the same problems, Josh. I understand that. Where was I at? That fucking a room placard. So some asshole at Motel 6. We were in room 212. I think I was starting to say. God, it's fucking hot in here. I was starting to say before the stupid goddamn camera shut off. Room 212, and little placard next to the door says the same thing, and the numbers are on the door, kind of what was that, fucking up and down, not horizontally, laterally. Is that laterally? They 212, 212. So then the next morning, my wife, after she walks the dog, she's like, all right, someone switched the number on our door. And what? I look at the door, and now we're in room 213. On the door, placard next to it, still the same, 212. On the door, the fucking assholes in 213 took our 2, put it on their door, and put their 3 to make our door 213. So I'm thinking it's some like weird superstitious thing that these dirtbags had. But right when I'm going back and forth up the stairs to bring the bags down and shit and put the toolie back onto the car, because I'm not leaving our shit on top of the car in Kingman, Arizona at a Motel 6. Fuck that. Not that Kingman's bad, but it's not good. The door to the next door, on their door, is kind of ajar. It's open a little bit. There's like some weird towel outside of their, wet-looking towel outside of their door, like almost like a doormat. And I'm like, I don't know who these people are. There's no noise coming inside. But they switched our door number. That's why you don't stay at Kingman, Arizona, in Kingman, Arizona. We get going. Get some shit for the kids, get some gas, move on. Then we go deeper into Arizona, which is beautiful, right? Off the 40, you get past Kingman, open landscape, this beautiful reddish kind of mountains in the distance, some mesas you can see. It's very picturesque. You can see the Old West there. Trains going by, all over the place. I don't know how many trains we saw. And I've driven this drive before. I've gone through there many times. But I'm showing my daughter, look at the train, another train. Look at the beauty, guys. Look at the shit out there. Look how much open land there is still in this world. So that's a great part of traveling. That's a great part of the drive. It's just going through the motions of the land. And it's pretty. Then we get to New Mexico. We stop here and there. And let me tell you something about traveling right now, I guess before I get to New Mexico. If you're traveling with kids now in this day and age, know that certain places still don't have restrooms that are open. They don't have bathrooms. And I think we stopped in Sanders, Arizona. And in Sanders, Arizona, we went to a Shell gas station. No bathroom. Couldn't go in there. It was county by county laws. And again, at me as a fucking loser and a beer drinker, you got to know that when you're going county to county, certain places are dry. They don't sell beer at stores. They don't sell beer at convenience stores, at gas stations. So if you're looking for that road beer, you got to map it out well, which I didn't. I just figured, they'll have beer everywhere. That's just part of that's part of living. But not the case. Not the fucking case. So now we get into New Mexico. Now once we get into New Mexico, it feels good. We're in the state that we're visiting, and we're going deeper and deeper. And when you're traveling through Arizona, I'm kind of backtracking here. I'm getting a little discombobulated with this whole fucking recording shit here, and the heat of my fucking garage. But Kingman, Arizona, nobody wore masks. Very few. At the Motel 6, again, we all have our masks on. We go into the or I go in the lobby, or my wife did, to go check in and check out. We just go in solo. And kids aren't going, they just go straight to the room. Then when we get to the room, what do you have to do? We have our Lysol wipes. Me and my wife are fucking wiping down everything, remote control, because people stick that shit up their ass anyways. I don't like touching remote controls when the shit's not going on. That's the first thing we wipe down, the counter spaces, the fucking doorknobs, any surface that the kids are going to touch and we're going to touch, we're wiping down with these fucking 99.9% bacterial wipes, antibacterial wipes. So hopefully we get that shit cleaned enough. So that's the first step of travel now with the kids. You got to clean the room. But no one in Kingman, at that Motel 6 in particular, was wearing masks. The workers weren't. The people weren't. Mr. Snot Rocket Man, who walked past me, wasn't, of course. Nobody. No 6 feet of distance. Nothing. So this is a new age now of travel. You got to take it upon yourself maybe to keep yourself safe. Or is that even safe? Do the people in Kingman and places in Arizona and New Mexico wasn't much different? Certain pockets of people were wearing masks. Certain stores, maybe half-half. But not it wasn't 100%. And we're coming from a place that is very, again, pretentious, and it's California, overly fucking expensive. So people already look down at California, the most populous state out there. But everybody has to wear it. You can't go into a store here without wearing a mask. And throughout our travels, all the signs on the side of the road, those sort of digital signs, they said, COVID-19 is still a thing. Please wear your mask. Please keep social distancing. All the way through Arizona and all the way through New Mexico. So it wasn't that there wasn't a promotion of it to keep distance and keep masks on and things like that. It's just people don't want to listen. It is the Old West. It is the Wild West. It's the way, I think it's the mentality there. That's why I said most states are not states anymore. They're their own little fucking countries. And it's strange. It's odd. It's an odd thing to see, but I kind of knew that already because I've lived in New Mexico. I've lived in Arkansas. It's just different county by county, state by state. California is no different as well. Going away from the sort of different county we live in to other internal counties, going to through the grapevine, through sort of more of the farmland. Some people wore them at gas stations, some people didn't. And again, I have a fucking gray area with that. I do it. I will do it. Wear a mask, but it doesn't mean everybody has to. It's not that hard, right? I know this is a visual thing, but you put this fucking thing on, you strap it over your head, you're good to go. You look kind of like Bane from fucking Dark Knight, but it's not that bad. Or you got these fabric ones that are a little more breathable. You put it like that, put it over my big fucking goddamn crinkle cut fry ears, and my big fucking Jew nose, my snaggle teeth, right? It's not that hard. It's a pain in the dick. I understand it, but it's not that hard. And then we get to, we're making it. Made it through Albuquerque. We're getting closer, only 3 hours away, and we're so excited. Then we finally get to Roswell, and we're excited there as well, just to get to the end of the trip, just to get to the end of our day. So we had one 10 to 11 hour day, maybe 12. Then we have a second 10 to 11 hour day. So we're 22 to 23 hours in the car in 2 days with 2 kids. One teenager who's sometimes often worse than the 7-year-old. And I guess that's just the way it goes. But we made it. We made it to there. That's not to say that we made it back from there well, but we did. I'm not going to give too much away because that'll be part 2 if I can fucking splice these videos together, which I'm hoping I will be able to do. Download some fucking free or very cheap editing tool, hopefully, and I can get this back on the fucking YouTube channel without these weird gaps in it. That's kind of what I had for today, and it's getting fucking hot. I gotta cook my shawarma soon on the grill. I gotta make some stuff ready, get ready for some kale chips in the oven with some bacon grease. I have responsibilities here, right? I have responsibilities, and I was responsible enough to take my kids on a road trip during this pandemic, during the worst quote unquote pandemic that we've ever had. Since I've been alive, of course, since any of us have probably been alive, definitely since my kids have been alive. So we made a smart choice of that. So the responsibility factor is definitely there. And just know these little tidbits, these little facts. So if you have children and you're looking to travel, which I know many people do, and will travel just as well as we do, have the hand sanitizer. We'd had that. We had one that smelled like a fucking unicorn's ball sack. That was something that my daughter got for Christmas, I think, that we're laughing at. Like, why do we have hand sanitizer that smells like fucking jizz from a unicorn horn? But it came in handy. Then we have another one that smells like a mistletoe mixed with a snowman's fucking, I don't know, asshole. Did I use that one already? Unicorn's asshole. But it was very, very smelly, fragrant. Right, but they had enough 60-something% alcohol in them that would work. Plus, we had a couple other sprays and shit like that. So sanitizer, we had those wipes, bacterial wipes, antibacterial wipes. That came in handy. We had our masks. We used that. We tried to socially distance ourselves as much as possible, even in a dirtbag environment like a Motel 6, and not to chastise that chain. Hopefully, they won't let go of me as an advertisement, as a partner. So Motel 6, if you're still out there, leave the light on for me, right? Leave the light on for me, please, because I need money. And that's it. That's pretty much it. Just be savvy while you're out there. And, we had a good trip in Roswell, a good week with the family, a little over a week. My wife and I were able to get out and travel to Taos, New Mexico, just by ourselves and get a hotel by ourselves for the first time in over a year. So that was nice and fun. I had panic attacks while in New Mexico, which was probably from over drinking, which I went on a good streak of drinking there, a good 12, 13 days in a row of drinking and boozing it up, and hopefully giving myself a little bit of a detox afterwards. But what's the point anymore? Is there a point anymore? So maybe there won't be a fucking part 2 to this. Who cares? I played disc golf quite a bit, or at least a few times in the desert heat and the blistering wind. So that was interesting. Good to hang out with my brother and cousin and my son doing that. Got attacked by these fucking falcons called kites. I tried to catch some video of it, but of course my camera doesn't catch shit. But these things were fucking attacking us on this disc golf course. And I was using the fucking disc like a goddamn ping pong paddle trying to bat them away from me. It's like a fucking shield. It's like a Viking shield, but the smallest shield ever. They were darting for us. So obviously they're protecting a nest or some shit, or they're just evil, evil bastards. And they would just dive bomb us. So we had to look out, not the best fucking disc golf game ever. Not the best score I've ever had in my life, even though I'm not that good at all. It's just something to do. And disc golf for me is a way to get outside, exercise when I'm not exercising that much, especially on vacation. It's a good hike, and to have some beers. It's like regular golf, but not as expensive. It's free. It's free. All you gotta do is buy a couple of fucking cheap discs, buy some beers, go out there and get attacked by a fucking pigeon. So it's fun, able to do that. And now my parents are getting older, so you just never know. My dad's 80 years old now. My mom's younger than that, but just take those opportunities. And we did. And are we smart? If in 10 days, is that the waiting period within 14 days? So we got back a few days ago. So in 10 to 12 days, if I get the COVID, this will be my swan song video. And hopefully, like I said, I'll be able to splice these fuckers together, because I don't know why this video doesn't go for a full time. Is it because it's idle? Do I not touch it? Am I not doing dick pics well enough? Am I not going? I don't know. So I'll try to figure that out. And then I'm sure I'll do another podcast and video here soon enough. And maybe just keep going with the travels with Domestic Dawn, travels with kids, the COVID trip, 2020. And we're looking to go camping, find a camp spot somewhere. So we're going to do it again, as long as we don't get ill. But I think we'll be fine. And just while we're heading out here, I will open my first beer of the day. And this episode is brought to you by Lead Dog Brewing Company. This is a Citra Solo IPA, which I've been into lately. It's sort of the hazy Citra IPAs, and I'm not a huge IPA guy, but these ones are usually not as harsh. It's from Reno and Sparks, Nevada. Woo! I've had some times in Reno and Sparks, and it's not what you think. But I did get hit on by a 300-pound hooker one time. Not hit on. I got proposed to by a 300-pound hooker. What's the word? I'm blanking on words here. I'm tired. I'm still tired from the trip, still recovering. Proposition. That's the word I'm looking for. Got propositioned by a 300-pound hooker. And she said she just wanted a bus ride, but I could tell she wanted a Domestic Dawn ride in the budget hotel that my friend and I were once staying at. And I've had other times in Reno, too, with rugby and other stuff. And it always ends up fun, but not good, if you know what I mean. So, I'll send you off with a sip here. Yeah, that's not bad. See? That's what I'm talking about. Citra or fucking hazy, if you don't like that over bitterness of the IBUs of usual IPAs, when people just try to drown you with the fucking wet sock taste of their IPAs. I think brewers sometimes probably do that. Just working all day in the fucking cellar, and they just wring their socks out and their jock straps into the fucking barrels or the tanks to get that fucking bitterness. But I don't know. I'm no expert. So I'm going to keep writing in this pretentious folder. I'll do some more possibly of the travels and other things here, and hopefully iron out the kinks of this fucking video so I don't have to keep putting part 1 and part 2 on YouTube for my fucking 5 subscribers. The audio will come out later. That should be fine in streaming. I know how to edit that shit. I just got to figure this shit out. All right, so you guys have a good weekend. Keep drinking.